There we go. So, guys, thanks for getting on. Holiday week, Thanksgiving, 2 days away. Everybody traveling for Thanksgiving? Anybody traveling? Thanksgiving? Are you guys all going to be here? Yep. Here, or staying home?
It's one of the 2 days a year I slave in the kitchen for 2 days.
I hear you. So, well, guys, it's good to have you on here. We got one more coming in, Nicole. So, Kathy's going to teach today. I've known Kathy now for a long time, whatever. And Kathy, I mean, as far as real estate, what is it, 22 or 23 years now? 23 years at this
23
years. So she was a managing broker at Keller Williams for 4 years. You were Coldwell Banker Rookie of the Year way back in the day, 23 years ago.
Yeah.
50 sales awards, over 50 sales awards that you've won over the years. So yeah, you've done phenomenal, obviously, with what you're doing. So, and been at EXP now, how long? 4 years at this point?
4 years. Yeah. 4.5. It was actually May of 17.
Okay.
Yep.
Very
we were
cool.
only 3,200 agents.
Yeah. Very cool. Well, I know you're building some good things there, but obviously got a lot you can share. I'm sure you'll be doing multiple trainings here for us over time, but definitely a lot you can share here with us. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to you, talking about some CRM stuff and whatever. I'm looking forward to it.
Yep.
So I got my notebook. Let's do it.
Well, this is going to be, I would just preface it by saying this is not going to be anything new probably to y'all. I don't know kind of what your years experience are from newer to veteran like myself and Jeff. This stuff you're going to probably have heard, but I almost wanted to bring this to you as a reminder, because what I've seen in my career in 23 years is, in my opinion, this is where realtors fail in their business and building their business and sustaining their business long-term, okay? And that is creating your CRM and a contact management system. Like I was on the phone the other day with just talking with an Icon agent. They're an Icon agent and they don't have a CRM. And I'll tell you in a minute what they do, but and how they kind of stay in front of their clients. But it is critical, because if you do not build yourself a CRM, and what I'm talking about, if you're new into the business, is just a contact management system. Obviously with KV Core, with EXP, we have KV Core. That's a massive and amazing CRM. And so, it's very robust and not the easiest one to learn, but if you'll learn it, it's worth it. I'll tell you that. It's worth it not only for staying in touch with your current contacts, and clients and past clients. And really that's what I'm going to be talking about today more, is staying in touch with your past clients. Like, how do you do that? We work so hard to create clients and to get the word out there about our business, and we'll do the transaction. And then we're like, had a great relationship and all with them. And then if you don't put them in some kind of system, you forget about them, especially as the years go by and more transactions happen. And if you will just get yourself to a place to systematize a CRM, to stay in touch with them, and we're going to talk about some different things to do about staying in touch with them. At some point in your career, you can probably create as much business as you want just off of your database. Okay. Now, in the beginning, when you're first starting, it's like, the whole airplane analogy we've all heard, get an airplane up off the ground. It takes a lot of energy and, a lot of different things to get that going, but don't minimize the power of your database. Okay. So I tell everybody, that new, existing, whatever, and this is really what I do. I've gotten to where I just really want to target about 150 people. Right. So for me, I just go to the ones that I had great transactions with, that I really loved. If it's not a great transaction for whatever reason, I may not add them onto my database, but if you're just loving on 150 people, if only 20% of them either end up being repeat or referral business, that's 30 deals a year. Right. And when I say market to those 150 people, like, you've got to overly love on those people. So it doesn't mean you've got to have this huge database of thousands of people. So I want to preface it with that. All right. So I will throw out I already told you about KV Core, and I think that is worth using and getting used to. We get that already. But there's a simple, if you're not going to use that, if you're just like, I'm not going to do that, it's just a lot to learn. Then there is another database that I've used in the past called Realtyjuggler. It's like $100 a year. And they're and they've got some drip campaigns. They have just all kinds of canned emails you can create. For Christmas, they have even like email with animations in it to send like for Christmas cards out. And for the price, I mean, like I said, it's about $100 a year. I think it's a super good database. And, you know, again, if you've been in the business a long time, people are like, what's the best contact man? What's the best CRM to use? And the standard answer always is the one you're going to use. And again, going back to what I started with, this is where, to me, I can't even believe how many agents I talk to on a regular basis that don't build a CRM, that don't have a CRM. So that's your homework today. Starting when we're done, I want you to, if you don't already have one, I want you to figure out which one you're going to use. I want you between now and the end of the year, if not sooner, to create 150 minimum people in that database. If you're new and you're just starting in your business, then who are the people already you know, like, and trust you? You want to add them anyway. But then, of course, any transactions you've done with those people. All right. So start there.
Hey, Kathy, again, what was the name of that company?
Realtyjuggler.
Oh, Juggler. Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. I have an affiliate link with them. If y'all want, put your email in the chat, and then I'm going to send you my affiliate link that I have with them. They're just somebody I just think they're good for the money. Like I said, again, I can't stress it enough, and I've already said it twice. Use KV Core, but I mean, it's a powerful system. It allows you to do a whole lot more than most systems out there. I mean, Jeff, back in his business at KW, he used Boomtown. It's similar to that. It's just very robust, but you know, there's a learning curve. But like I said, if you're not going to use KV Core, then this is just one to consider. So, you know, when I was talking to one of the icons a few days ago, what they do, so this is a bare minimum that I would encourage you to do. I really would say do this in addition to your CRM. But if you're just, for whatever reason, not going to do it, actually, I'm not even going to let you off the hook. You got to do it. Okay. You guys are in business. You don't want to be having to hustle for deals year after year after year. If you'll do what I'm telling you, you will get to a point where you're not out there having to hustle and figure out where your business is coming from. Okay. So I'm not even gonna let you off the hook. So in addition to your CRM, put your clients into a Facebook group. You know, not all your clients are in a Facebook, but create a group for your client, for your 150 people. I'm just going to use that number. Y'all can use come up with whatever number you want to. Create a Facebook group for them, and then stay in front of your contacts. That's one way that you can just stay in front of those people, right? You can do all kinds of, you know, you can do messaging, you know, maybe celebrate your clients when you sell a house, or maybe you see your clients on Facebook, you know, that group. When I say clients, I'm talking about the ones you put in this group. If you see something on their personal profile page that they've done or something, like, celebrate it, you know, just brag on it, just create this community of your people who know, like, and trust you already. Again, I think Brittany's on here. I was talking to her the other day, and she has a Facebook group for her people, and you know, she'll do contests in there, right? Because you want to get the engagement in there, so she'll run some contests in there. So anything you can do, you know, just to kind of love on them and stay in touch with them. So build your database in a CRM, create a Facebook group. Now, what are we doing with those people? Now that we've got all this, now what exactly are we going to do? So that's really what I want to spend the rest of this time talking about. And this is going to be a little different than maybe what some of these trainings have been before. This is where we're going to have some participation and some collaboration here. Okay. So I have several things that I'm going to throw out to you that I have done. And that I do, but I want to help you like build out, like, or start to right now build out your 2022 campaign, if you will, to stay in touch with these 150 people or so. All right. So like, what do you do? Now we got these people in a CRM. What do we do besides the traditional or typical drip, email drip, which all these systems will allow you to do. Besides that, besides maybe texting them, besides maybe messaging them and just like, hey, how you doing type thing. Besides those, I have chosen over the last many years, I spend every marketing dollar that I choose to spend, it goes back into these 150 people. So I do not spend any marketing dollars anywhere but back to my people. Because again, if I'm in their face, if I'm loving on them, if I'm just getting a 20%, referral rate, I mean, that's 30 homes a year. Okay. So plus the fact you're just in relationship with these people, they, again, know, like, and trust you. So here we're coming at the end of the year. I mean, we're a little bit late now, almost here at Thanksgiving, but, I'm going to throw out a few ideas and then I'll open it up. If anyone else has some ideas, maybe they've done or they've heard and they've never done it, we're going to throw that out. And then we're going to talk about like, what are we going to do? How can we build our 2022, plan to again, start building this database up and communicating with them. So last year I went on Personalization Mall. Y'all probably heard of that. Personalization Mall. And I went on, so if they bought a house last year, then I took a picture. If I didn't already have a picture, I either went to the MLS, took the picture if it was a good picture off of MLS. If I'd like to try to get a picture with people in front of their house with a sold sign, right before we close or right after we close. Anyway, I took a picture. I got a picture of their house, whether they were in it or not in it. Ideally, they were in it right in front of it with the sold sign. But I created ornaments and I did 2-sided ornaments on Personalization Mall. They're like $11. And you can do 2 sides. And I sent those. And if they didn't buy a house last year, and now let me preface this by saying, I didn't do this with all 150. I did this more with the core 50 of them or so. So you can decide how many of those 150 you want to actually do some of these ideas to. But if they didn't buy a house last year, then I just went on Facebook because a lot of people are getting family pictures, right? And they'll post their family picture that, ends up being their Christmas card around the holidays. So I took that picture, or I just took some other great pictures that I thought was great. And I've just put that on the ornament. And I just said, happy holidays, Christmas 2021, but I always put the year that it was. So that's just an idea that you can do. Another thing I did one Christmas was I handed out, I did some wrapping paper, really fancy kind of wrapping paper, just a roll with a really, really nice bow and a roll of Scotch tape. Like I had it all there for them. And I just, wove the Scotch tape, with the cute note. I can't remember what I said, but just some kind of clever little note, and had it all. And I actually delivered those to some people. So those are just a couple of ideas. One year we did a big pie giveaway. So we get with the local pie shop. And now see, you could market this in your Facebook group, right? You could just say, hey, we're offering chest pumpkin apple pie, right? I think we had 3 options, put your order in, pick them up. We're going to have them for pickup available on this date. And so, we probably have 40 people come pick up pies, and I just bought them from a local bakery. And again, I had them just come to a location. At that time, when I did that, we actually had an office. So you'd have to find a place to, to really do that, but that wouldn't be a difficult thing to do. But then you're in front of those people, right? They're coming to pick them up. You're getting to reconnect with them. Maybe you haven't seen them, since they bought the house. So those are just some ideas there. 2 years ago, my Santa's canceled the last 2 years because COVID, but 2 years ago, we did breakfast with Santa. And that was great. We actually, 2 years ago, Steve and I had seen this idea. I should do this again. I don't know why I didn't do this. 2 years ago, I'd seen this realtor on Facebook. She's now at the EXP. She wasn't. She's somewhere up in Minnesota, and I didn't really know her, but I just followed her and she actually, her and her husband, I guess in 2018, they gave away bikes at Christmas, like, I don't know, 100 bikes, or it was a crazy number, I don't know. And what they did is every time they gave one for every closing they had that year. I was like, man, I love that idea. So in 2019, every closing I had, I literally set up a separate account and I put $100 into an account. And then in December of, this was back in 2019, in December of 2019, we bought, I think, 80 bikes, and then we just donated them. And of course I did, a whole Facebook post about it, and just, really thanked our clients, because it's because of you and because, of your trust in us that we were able, that we chose, and I would talk about it through the year too, that we chose to just take a portion of each of our commissions to be able to give back to some kids, that aren't going to be able to have a Christmas. So we had like 80 bikes, like I said, and then we just donated them. What I did is I reached out to some of those clients that were teachers. Several of them were teachers, and they were in kind of lower income housing, teaching or schools. So I reached out to them and I was like, hey, do you know any kids in your school or in your class that, would need a bike that aren't going to have a Christmas this year? And so one of my teachers, I think we gave 6 bikes to, and she obviously was super grateful. She and I actually went and delivered 2 of them to somebody's house, and she was just a past client. Well, she's going to probably love us forever, but we were able just to give back and serve the community in that way. So that was another thing that we did. And also, if you put your thing in here, so there's a letter you can send out, and I just heard this idea this year, and I haven't sent this, but I'm going to, but I got a copy of it. When I heard about it, it's letters that you can send out, reasons to list during the holiday season. So that's not really one of these feel good touches, but that just came to mind. And so, if you want to get that sent out, like, just let me know and I'll send you that letter. So, and then we're rolling into obviously the beginning of the year. The last idea, and then I want to open it up if anybody else has any ideas. Maybe Jeff, you've done this maybe probably in the past, you might have a couple of things. But the other thing that I like to do is, and this isn't holiday stuff, but with January 1 coming around, all the deals you closed in a year, send out their settlement statement, right? Get a copy of that settlement statement. You probably already have a copy, make copies, mail it to them, and just say, hey, I just wanted to remind you, you may have some tax deductions available from your closing statement. So I wanted to give you another copy in case you didn't know where yours was. Don't forget to, provide this to your accountant or CPA when you're doing your taxes. So they always appreciate that, because especially if they bought earlier in the year, a lot of times they forget about that. And then again, Brittany, I think, is on here, which she and I were chatting, and a couple of days ago or yesterday, and she said, she's down in Florida and we don't have homestead exemptions here, but I guess they do in Florida, and they have to file for that. And she's just like, I hammer my people for the homestead, like I stay on them till they basically check in with me and tell me they did it. And so does Colorado have that? Do they have homestead exemption?
Do you know, Brian? Melissa? I don't know.
Y'all would know if they did. I mean, that's kind of a big thing.
Well, yeah, they have a senior tax exemption. It's not really an exemption, it's a reduction. It's about 50% off. If you're in a home over, you got to live there, I think 10 years after you're I think 65.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Is that just for property taxes?
It is.
Yeah. No, yeah, we don't have that, but I know, and it doesn't sound like y'all really have the homestead. So anyway, the settlement statement is a good one. So for the end of the year kind of stuff, what are a couple of other ideas? Anybody got anything else? So, you know, I want y'all to think about, like, even if you don't get your 150 created, who are 10, 20, 30 people that you can reach out and do something like this that we're talking about to, you know, to coming into the end of the year. If you haven't ordered magnets, calendar magnets, that stays on the refrigerator all year. If you haven't done that, order yourself magnets. Send that to all those 150 people because those are cheap. And have your face planted on the refrigerator. But how many of you guys have been into a listing appointment and you see somebody else's magnet on the refrigerator? Another realtor, every one of us, right? If you've been around, every one of us have seen that. Well, why didn't they call that realtor? Because what we're talking about, that their realtor, if that was their realtor, they didn't stay in touch with them after the sale. I think NAR has the stat, you know, they put that annual stat, they report out every year. And I think 80, it's high, it's always high. It's like 82 to 87% say that they would use their realtor again, yet only like 25% do. Again, why is that? Because we as agents, if we do not do what I'm talking about here, we are work on a transactional basis. It's kind of like, you know, you do the deal, you're done, you collect the money, thank you. I mean, we don't have that mentality, but you know what I'm saying. So it's critical for the long-term sustainability of your business that you guys do this. And again, I feel like I'm like beating everybody because I know agents don't do it. And it's the simplest, easiest thing that we can do to sustain our business long-term. So anybody have any other ideas for the year? And then I'm going to talk about a few ideas for next year.
There's a lot of things we've done over the years. I mean, I mentioned this last week, and it's something that's pretty easy to do. We've done this where we'll like rent out a movie theater, which is actually not that expensive to do right now because we're all trying to get people back to the theaters. So you can rent out a theater and you do like a Saturday afternoon kind of thing. You pick some sort of a, you know, a lot of them now they're giving you like all these options of, you know, maybe like current movies that are playing, but you can also go through a list of like this time of year, like all the Christmas movies, and you do a family thing. You know, and you invite, you know, they all bring their kids. And so, you know, you pay for the theater and it might be $300 or something for the theater. It's not that bad anymore with some of these, you know, and you might provide, you know, whatever, you know, you work out a deal with the theater, popcorn, drink, candy, whatever. It's different things you could do like that, but you bring them all in, you know, we've done that before. You know, we've done Christmas parties. We've done, you know, a lot of times in the summer, we haven't done this for a couple of years. We need to get back to this, but we would do like even like a big just summer barbecue kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we'd have like, you know, we'd usually do it at a park where there's a playground so the kids can be playing and stuff. But we'd have, you know, I remember bringing in a one of those guys that does like the caricatures, you know, like sit down and draw people's, you know, and he was awesome. Like we'd have that going. We had like, you know, the face painting for the kids. We had like, yeah, I don't know, just that kind of stuff going on with, you know, pretty simple, like just, you know, had a barbecue going. You know, you go to Costco, you get a, you know, box of burgers for, you know, 30 of them in there for whatever it is, you know, $18 or something. It's probably gone up now.
Well, and some people do the potlucks, you know, they'll pull together, just do a potluck, you know. And another thing, if you guys, again, I'm sure if you've ever done it, that you've even done this, you can have your lenders, title people, and home inspectors and all help offset some of those costs. You know, again, if you're newer and or maybe your business isn't to the point that you can afford, you know, $1,000 or $1,500 or $2,000 yourself, then get your lender and your title company. A lot of your clients probably use them anyway, right? And so they love to get back in front of them themselves. Mm-hmm. So get them to help offset the cost of that.
For sure.
So let's kind of talk about a few other ideas like going into next year. So I'm just going to throw some ideas out. Like Jeff just gave you a couple. They don't have to be the end of year things. Those are, you know, like the picnic in the summer. They're on Amazon. You can get in February. Again, I heard this idea not very long ago. I'm like, no, I'm doing it this February. So one of the things that I like to do is everybody, if they're going to do anything, most people will do things around the typical holidays like a July 4th or, you know, Thanksgiving or Christmas. But think about some of those off holidays, right? Where you just show up randomly. with something, whether you're mailing it or what have you. And so last year I'd heard somebody bought these measuring spoons off of Amazon. You can just Google or search on Amazon. They're measuring spoons in the shape of hearts. So what about sending those? They're $5. So what about sending it's a set of 4? And what about like one of them says a pinch of love, like it says on there, like a pinch of love. It has just cute little sayings on each of the 4 spoons, and they're $5. And so send that out to maybe out of your 150, you're not doing all of this to every one of them every time. But if you have a core 25 or 50, so like I said, $5. I thought that was a great idea. What about like, around in March, what is that lucky day in March?
St. Patrick's Day.
St. Patrick's Day, I just went blank. What about like mailing a card out with a lotto ticket or something and just say, I'm lucky to have you, as a client and a friend, and just send a $1 lotto ticket. Again, it's just ideas to stay in front of your clients so that when they know of somebody, if they themselves or hear of somebody making a move, you're right in front of them. Kind of going to, the thing. One year, actually year before last, it was harder to do stuff last year, wasn't it? And this year with COVID stuff for people. But year before last, we did a picture with your pet event. I bought a bunch of costumes, like dog costumes I had to get for small, big, small, medium. I was like, okay, I spent probably $300 on costumes at least, now I got this whole total cost of dog costumes. but then I brought in a photographer and we did, and so I had pictures. I did it at a local place. Then he actually has a dog park. He has this full setup. And then there's a dog park there too. I brought in also, I had somebody sponsor, what do you call it? They're a pet mobile, like cleaning a pet mobile. And a guy, one of our past clients, he trains dogs, like professionally trains them, not peeing and pooping kind of professionally trains, but like, sit, all that type stuff. So I had him there, just doing a couple of, teaching them how to teach their dog a couple of commands. And then all of them got to pick their costumes, dress their little doggy up. Everybody loves their pets just like they do their babies. And then I got, again, reconnected and just I emailed their pictures to them. When the photographer sent them, I just, had him send them all to me after he edited them up and sent out their pictures to them. One of our agents, they do movies on the lawn. So they have one of those big, nice, so they do it. What they do is actually for a farm area. So they farm a neighborhood, they invite all their past clients plus their farm. So if you're farming an area where you're, trying to build, they'll do that every summer and have a big old, I think now it's even grown to where they bring in a couple of bounce houses. So they run this movie and it's a whole big event. I think it's a lot of work, but I think that's what he does every year. And he says,
reminds me of something, Kelly. There's an agent here in town, a friend of mine. He used to be on my team when I had my traditional team. And he does a thing, a lot of the neighborhoods now, at least out here, you've got like almost like a rec center in the neighborhood, I mean, the indoor pool and the gym and all that kind of stuff, your HOA fees, all that kind of stuff. But they do every month, they do this around this all year long. Every month they'll do like a Saturday night movie at the pool. And so because it's indoor pool.
Yeah.
So, they'll set up there and they'll bring in, they'll advertise it, whatever. And it's like all the neighborhood coming in there with their, and it's like the families swimming, the kids are on the rafts in the pool, whatever. And they just play the movie like on the side, whatever, everybody's in the pool.
That's awesome.
But they can do all year round because it's indoor, and it doesn't cost hardly anything. It's just nothing.
If that's an open, rec center, then again, you could invite your database, something like that, right? Once a month. I mean, these people that we're talking about. So who has some other good ideas that they've done? Then I kind of want to I wanted this to be a little bit collaborative. And like, I think I want to get you guys thinking, the first and foremost, I want you to, if you're not with your doing a database or have one, I hope if you leave with nothing today, I've got to do that. And you make yourself during this holiday season, sit down and create that, and then implement some of these things that we're talking about so that you can have a fantastic 2022. We're all in the middle of business planning right now. I mean, this is the time of year people are starting to do those things. But if you'll just take this idea that we're talking about, creating your database and loving your database, you guys can start building your business, a sustainable business to carry you through as long as you want to be in real estate. Okay.
For sure.
I don't really want to go off the tangent on it or off the bunny trail so much about this, but in addition, that you want to do is when people are referring you, you want to have some kind of plan and system in place for how you're thanking those people. Because you want to reward, whether the people buy or not, you want to reward that behavior. Okay. So just kind of have that in the back of your mind as you're planning, like, okay, what are all these things I want to implement? What am I going to do in January, February, March, April? And I'll also create, what am I going to do when people refer business to me? How am I going to thank them? And so that's another component. So if you'll just take these ideas that we're talking about, and like I said, you can build your business for as long as you want to be in business just off of that, and have fun, doing it, not feeling like you're grinding all the time. Like, oh my gosh, I don't know where my next deal's coming from. What were we going to say, Jeff?
Well, no, I was going to say, I loved your idea. And I think it came from Brittany. I mean, it might've been before you got on here, Brittany. She talked about how you have a Facebook group for your past clients. You're muted. Can you unmute yourself? Find that mute button. There you go.
There we go. Sorry, guys.
That's a great idea. I thought about that. That's
yes. So the Facebook group has been really beneficial to me because, you're just staying in front of them, and there's so many different things that you can do with the group. I like to just do like a fun thing, like, we all know inventory is short. So it's like a way of asking people for a listing, or if they know someone considering selling, is I'll just do a fun little game like, hey, how many houses, without looking on your whatever app you go to, Zillow or whatever, do you think is on the market in my 2 like farm area zip codes? And then people will guess, and whoever gets the closest, I give them a $25 gift card to a local deli or some, like our favorite deli around here. I try to stay away from like the big franchise places and support the small businesses. So just keeping it real fun with them and lighthearted has definitely rewarded me with a lot of referrals. Kathy was saying to put stuff into KV Core. It's a non-negotiable. When you really sit down and, I say, put yourself on bed rest, like make yourself like, I am not getting up until this is done. Putting all of your people into KV Core. The good thing is you're able to print labels right then, right there. And it's plug and play every year for me. I go to my sphere. They're all labeled, plug and play, print labels. I'm sending out the calendars. I'm sending out whatever it is, the lottery tickets at St. Patty's Day. Keep it rolling throughout the year. Time change cards, plug and play. I mean, it's as simple as hitting print.
You do the lotto tickets at St. Patty's too?
I do the lotto tickets, St. Patty's, calendars. I do Thanksgiving, which it's too late for this for you guys. Sorry, but I do Thanksgiving holiday cards because then I mail my family ones, which a lot of my sphere is also, people that are getting holiday cards. So I do Thanksgiving. I want to be the first calendar on their fridge. Because if you get 5 calendars, then you're probably going to throw a few away.
Yeah. I like the sports calendars.
Oh yeah, I used to do those. I haven't done those.
Like around here, Broncos are so big, whatever. Yeah. So, in July, August, send out the schedule for the Broncos for the season. Yep. It stays on at least, about 4 or 5 months on there.
Yeah.
As all
baseball and heck, now around here hockey's so big.
Yeah, you can do college sports, if that's big where you are. There's a lot of you can do that. Companies.
Yeah, we used to do that too, actually. Yeah, I'd forgotten about that one.
And one more thing that we haven't said, sorry to cut you off, Kathy, is this is super duper affordable. You get a couple high school kids and you do like wrap their Christmas presents. You know, any title company in town that you're closing with, if you don't have a branch office, will allow you to use their office.
Conference room.
But if someone was willing to wrap my Christmas presents, I will definitely be thinking of them throughout the year.
Yeah.
You may have to train some of the college ones. I mean, the high school kids how to
And make
wrap.
it like a toy drive too. So you're giving back to the community.
I had
you
this
know, a toy
image of
drive.
young, yeah, I had this image of young boys and it's like all yucky. It's like, okay, maybe not.
I think real key here, guys, is for everybody and people watch this recording. And again, Brittany, you're what, 3-time icon agent?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yes.
3 times icon?
Yes, and we're in Orlando, Central Florida area.
Okay. And how long you been in the business in real estate?
I've been in the business 22 years.
Wow. Okay. So again, and you know, and Kathy said you were willing to do a training for us here, maybe down the road as we get going on this.
Always.
I told him
always
you
I can
did
help
the
you guys.
luxury, you did a luxury training that, you know, was awesome. So, yeah.
And not to
Yes.
get off track, but here's what I want to say is like, you know what you're talking about. You know, I've been doing this 20 years. Kathy's been in 23 years. It's like, you know, and some of you guys are new. Some of the people that will watch this, you know, been in real estate for 6 months, a year and trying to figure all that out. And there is that building of the business. But after a while of doing that, your database can get big enough. And then those past clients can get big enough that you can really pull back on your marketing costs. As far as like, you know, whatever the $300 a month for Google pay-per-click and the $400 a month for this and all that stuff, you can start pulling back on some of that and use some of this kind of stuff and just constantly get those referrals. You know,
And I would say if you're
Awesome.
new, I mean, if you're new, just, you know, create that database of people like we talked about to begin with, who already know, like, and trust you.
Yep.
Right. And just do some of these things for those people and just be their number one resource, you know, when available. One other thing I wanted to share with you is, I don't know if y'all have heard of this, but I've been sending this out this year. This magazine, can y'all see it? It's called American Lifestyle. So it's got your picture on the front of it. It's got EXP. You can customize the back. But the thing I like about this magazine, on this inside cover, you write your own letter. You write your own letter. So you see it's got my big picture there. So you write your own letter. If you don't want to write your letter, they have a canned letter there. And then it's got 2 tear outs in the middle of it. And that's all branded to you too. And so it's so easy how they have it set up. You go in and decide what tear outs you want to put in there. You decide what the front cover is going to be. They just have a slew of them. Julie says she sends it and the clients love it. Like this past one that just went out, one of the tear outs I put in there, that was an option, are the baking conversions. How many of y'all that bake ever was like, man, what does that mean? You know, like, you know, or how many, if it's asking for a pint, like, okay, how many, you know, how many cups is that again? Right. So this has the baking conversion. Again, it's got my stuff on the front. Oh, I'm not doing a good job. My front, they'll probably some woman's going to tear this out and stick this on her refrigerator and keep it forever. Right. And so this is a really good magazine to send out to people. I got just a quick story. So I started sending this out. I just sent it out to about 80 people right now. I sent it to about 80 people. And I got a call about, like, people love it. And I got a call, I don't know, 6 months ago. And one of my clients that I haven't seen in a while, he goes like, oh, I got your magazine. It's awesome. He said, perfect timing. My brother's coming in from Chicago. They're moving into Nashville. And long story short, hooked me up with them. We just closed about 3 months ago on a $1.1 million house. So I'm like, okay, well, that paid for this magazine for probably 10 years, you know, for all my people. And it literally was a result of this magazine, I think, because it did so happen to be right in front of him at that point, you know, that he had talked to his brother that day. So again, it's why it's important for us to stay in front of people. So the last thing
I think too, Kelly, real quick, and not to interrupt, I think some of this kind of stuff though that follows, it sets you apart from every other realtor that's out there. That's because there's, you know, I mean, here in Colorado Springs, we've got 4,000 of them. Like, why should I work with you? I mean, as a client, I mean, you know, because they're going to get, you know, whatever, they click on a couple of websites and all of a sudden now they get on all these, you know, they're getting emails, they're getting all this kind of stuff, but how do you make yourself stand out a little bit? And it's some of that kind of stuff and this follow up and these other things. And all of a sudden it's like, there's no question, like, what, Kathy is the one I got to work with. You know,
Well, and if you got them in that Facebook group, and
Yeah.
you can add value in that group. Now, I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to be as easy just to let you, say have a Facebook group. First of all, you have no control over that. If Facebook decides they want to shut down, and you're screwed if that's all you have.
Right.
And
That's
so
it.
you've got to do that in addition to your CRM.
Sure.
Okay. So I want to make that, but in that Facebook group, it's easy to market and give value back to those clients, right? About what's the market condition, what are interest rates doing, anything like that, that the average consumer is just constantly thinking about. Right. And so I'm thinking about doing a Facebook Live. I think about doing these a lot, and I very rarely pull the trigger because I don't like doing Facebook Lives.
You should, because
But
they work.
yeah, I know,
Yeah.
I know. But just on investing, like, have you looked at the, do you know what your house is worth today? Let me, hit me up and let's talk about it. And even if you're not thinking about selling, maybe it's a good time for you to pull some of the equity and let's buy an investment property and start building your long-term wealth. Right. And so y'all probably see a Facebook Live on that here soon when I get over myself. And
David, did you want to throw something out there?
Yeah, what you're really saying is the CRM is about control.
100%.
You can do all these things you're talking about, but you got to have the control to do it. I set in front of an icon. He does 120 deals a year. He has no CRM. Everything is through Facebook. Now, nobody likes Facebook more than I do. I do 2 or 3 lives a week. So plus I'm doing professional edited videos now, but it's got to be a secondary thing. If it's your primary thing, you have no control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's my
Because-
point. Yeah.
And the other thing is Facebook, you got to have a business page. He does not even have a business page, and he's flirting with disaster.
Yes, that's what
Right as he's doing, he could be out of business. And one day, if Facebook decides to start to look
Yep.
and see who's making money off of them, that's not a business page, they could shut you down so quickly.
Yeah.
Facebook's great, but don't rely on it.
Yeah, that's what exactly that I was saying. And that story is not uncommon. I mean, just, what I said earlier too, I was talking as well to a different icon agent, doesn't sell 120 a year, but they don't have a database. And I'm like, the words you said is pretty much what I said. You're flirting with disaster. Like right now, it's all great, but if things change with Facebook and for whatever reason, they decide to shut down, blah, blah, blah.
They change every
So,
month. I mean,
yeah.
you can't keep track of what Facebook changes.
Yeah, you have no control. So that's a good word. So the last thing I want to finish with, unless somebody's got some other ideas, is, teach your clients how to refer to you. So teach your clients how to refer to you. So you might want to say, at the end of closing, like, actually through the transaction, don't wait till the end. Like, as you're going through this process of home buying or home selling and you're talking about it, you realize you're a walking billboard, because now everyone's going to be going, oh, I thought about buying or I thought about selling, when they start seeing you either posting your stuff, Mr. Client, or they start. So, what I would be so honored is if you hear somebody saying that, if you wouldn't mind just starting a 3-way text with us and, let me see if there's a way I can serve them, or maybe just even answer questions and help them, even if they don't decide they want to make a move. And so just sort of get them to, first of all, thinking about, like, as their friends start saying, oh, we've thought about moving, or, whatever questions, because when your clients obviously are in the middle of it, that's what they're talking about the whole time, is their move and everything that's going on with that. And so just teach them maybe to put you, whatever you want and however you want to get connected to their network. What you don't want to do is say, oh, I would appreciate if you'd have them reach out to me or call me. Again, you want to be in control always. And so you just say, would you be so kind, maybe put us on a 3-way text, and maybe at bare minimum, I can answer some questions and serve them that way, right? Even if they decide not to sell. So just be sure to not underestimate the power of the referral side and how to teach your clients how to refer to you. Because how many of y'all have ever had clients say, oh, I gave your number so-and-so, and then you never heard from so-and-so, right? Like we all had that. So that's just what I'll close with. So does anybody have any other questions, ideas, anything they want to throw out before we close?
Just a lot of good stuff, Kathy. Thanks. I made tons of
Okay.
notes. So
I have one more, Kathy. Reviews are the asset in your business. It is super duper important. Take the time. I actually put it on my calendar every single week. Tuesdays is the day. And I just spend, 15 extra minutes, like sending out emails, like, obviously you can do past clients, but some of the sites, like Google, you don't have to have a transaction attached to it. Zillow, you have to have a transaction attached to it. But if you show a property, ask that person, hey, I know this might not be the property for you, but would you mind if I just sent you a Google link and have them fill it out? That is just, it's an asset of your business, and it's gotten me so much business through the years.
Gosh, and okay, so that is a place I fail, that is where have dropped the ball. So that was a great reminder.
Testimonials, the story,
Yes, testimonials for sure.
I think one of the keys, guys, with all this, I mean, again, going back to you get that CRM set up.
Yep.
If you haven't done it, it's work, whatever. But again, like,
Yep.
I'll tell you, like a couple of weeks ago, I was down sick for a few days, whatever. I think I had COVID actually, but anyway, I got over it. But there were a couple of days just coming out of that where, there's a new thing that I'm working on, some systems, and there were, what I get sent 32-hour-long videos. And I haven't watched them all, but I literally just sat there. I'm like, okay, my job the next few days is to get through these. And I learned the system really in those 3 days. I just focused on it. And, not that we all have the time to do that, but again, like even over this next month, it's a slower time of year, and to sit down and take a Saturday, Sunday, Monday, or a Friday,
Yep.
Saturday, Sunday, or something, just block out some time and just focus in, and you can learn KV Core enough to make it work. Now you can perfect it and keep adding on to it as time goes on. But, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? And I think it's just one of those things where it's like, just, it can be overwhelming. So therefore we do nothing with it.
Yep.
But that CRM and getting organized with that, I'm telling you live and die by your database in this business. Yep. And I used to have and I don't know if I shared this on here, one of the interviews I did recently. I learned it through Craig Proctor, when I was using Boomtown. I had a 7-year follow-up plan that was just automated. We would close with a client, and we would start, they're in my database already, and we would just click one button, boom, attach that 7-year follow-up plan to that client. And every month they got an email from me. You could do email, text, both, whatever. This back in the day with more, when people were doing more emails than texting, but it was just a 7-year plan, and just had different tips for their home, different things, whatever. And about every third or fourth one at the very bottom, PS, the biggest compliment I can get is when I get a referral from you, whatever, that kind of thing. It just kept my name out there in front of them. I can't tell you how many deals I had over the years by just having that follow-up plan in place like that. But all I did was one click and it was done for 7 years.
And I agree, but I like the additional touches too.
Oh, no, for sure. No, and we would do these other things as well. I
Yeah.
love your idea of taking like the 150 of them or something,
Yeah.
put them into like a Facebook group.
Yeah.
Again, like what Brittany was talking about,
Rubbing on 'em.
get that engagement, whatever, get something out there, some sort of a contest, and, the winner gets a $25 gift card, and you just get people engaged, and it costs you next to nothing, and you write it off anyway,
And then out of that, even create a top, like a VIP list of 25,
Yeah.
right? And those are the ones, maybe you're doing some of these ideas that I've shared
For
today.
sure.
There's one other thing I was going to share. There's a site out there called Client Giant, and they are an automated system where they will send gifts to your clients through the whole process, and then following up after the process. So there's like 5 different things that they get. And so you can look them up, Client Giant. And maybe for some of the, some of your clients, it may be worth putting them in that, but that's an automated, that one's more for through the transaction, but then they do some, following up too. And there is a company out there, and I can't remember the name of it, that
I've
does
heard of
like
one called
5
Send It cards. Is that?
send out cards. That's
I've heard of some
another.
people doing
Yeah.
that, and some of them you can attach.
Yes,
like, here's
and
a
I
small box
actually-
of cookies. Here's a small box of brownies.
Yes, and I'm glad you brought that up. I meant to
I
say
haven't
that
done it,
too.
but I've heard people doing that.
Yeah, they do. So you can create custom cards in that. Again, one year, or one client, I was telling the story to somebody the other day, they bought a puppy, and I was like, oh, that's cute. And so I have a send out card account. So I made a card with their puppy on it. And then they also have some gifts, but one of their things they're real known for are those brownies that you're talking about.
Yeah.
But anyway, I created this mug with their puppy and their kids' pictures that they were posting all over Facebook with the puppy, and mailed them this mug. And they loved it, like completely just loved it. But yeah, send out cards is another great system for sure. And
One
they
thing-
actually will, they have a database too that because you put your contacts in this database, right? And
Yeah.
then you can set up a drip campaign for them that way,
Right.
and even mail some gifts like, these brownies and things like that.
For sure. Let me show you guys one thing real fast here. I want to share my screen because if you're not familiar with this, so if you go to, I just want to show this, Sylvia Dana, she's an EXP agent. If you haven't heard of Sylvia, she's a KV Core expert. If you go to YouTube and just do a search, Sylvia Dana, KV Core, she's got a page. You can subscribe or not subscribe, but here's what I like about what she's doing. On her page, when you go here,
Best uses of deep.
she's got all these different videos for KV Core. She's got playlists in here for KV Core. Okay. Here's what I like about this is like down here, like if you look at these, whatever, should you purchase your own KV Core smart number? It's a 5-minute video. Social media setup to get leads to KV Core. It's 4 minutes. She's got all these playlists. They're not like these hour-long kind of things. They're just in these little bite-sized chunks. Okay. And she's got a ton of these, down here, playlists, all these new EXP agent playlist, here's the playlist. And you look at some of these, they're, a couple of them are longer, but a lot of these are just bite-sized chunks that you could sit down and just watch, like, take an hour a day and just focus in, knock out 4 or 5 of these, Now, also, if you go to Workplace, there's a couple different groups in Workplace. There's one in here, CRMs for dum-dums. Okay. There's 10,000 people in this group. This is primarily, I think, Sylvia's group.
That's her.
She goes in here, here's a resource guide for KV Core. And then, but there's all this interaction going on in here, and you can learn, different systems, different things with KV Core. There's also, if you just type in KV Core, there's KV Core marketing strategies, KV Core campaign sharing. One of the biggest ones is right here, KV Core discussion. There's 22,000 people in that group, and it walks you through all this kind of stuff. So I just want to share a couple of these things because you can become an expert on how to use it. It's a phenomenal tool.
Yeah.
You don't have to learn everything about KV Core, but you can learn enough to where you can make it work and because you got to get organized with this kind of stuff. Otherwise, you're just flying by the seat of your pants, and you don't want to just rely on Facebook like what David's talking about. It's a tool, but KV Core is here, and it's going to be here, and it's just a great system to use. I used to use Boomtown, and I shut it all off and exported all those leads out of there, put them into KV Core, because it was costing me $2,000 a month to use Boomtown.
Yeah.
I did it for about 10 years, and that was the biggest part of our team's business. Leads from that and past clients, referrals.
Yeah, if you learn it, then you can talk about it. If you do any agent attraction, it's just another, like, wow, we get this tool for free. Most agents have to pay $500 bucks for it, and this is what's happened to me since I started using it. So then you got a story for yourself that now you can start sharing with people.
Definitely. Anything else, guys, before we wrap it up? David, did you want to share something else? I saw you unmuted yourself.
I don't remember what it was now.
Okay, I'm sorry. We're all talking so much over here.
Oh, I was going to endorse Miss Dana on the cake, because I've got some of her. Actually, I spent $69 because I was trying to figure out how to do landing pages, and I bought one of her courses, and she's very, very good.
She's good.
Simple.
Yeah, she is good.
Really good. Great way to learn how to use it. You can pick and choose down there. She's just got a ton of those videos. I like the fact that most of them are just bite-sized chunks, one thing at a time. So any other last comments or questions for Kathy? Anybody on here before we wrap it up?
I just want to say thank you to Kathy, and it's so nice to see everybody. Thank you, Jeff. Always trying to improve our performance, and thank you very much. And happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, definitely.
Good to have you.
Totally appreciate it. Well, guys, we'll be back next Tuesday. Okay, every Tuesday. Any agents that you know that are part of our group that aren't in the Freedom Team page, be sure to, whatever. If you're friends with them on Facebook, you can invite them in there. Let them know they have to accept the invite to be put in there. That it doesn't put them in automatically. But we're going to keep doing this, keep building this up. Again, Brittany will do some training. I forget who we have lined up next week, but we're lined up for like the next month. We'll just keep adding to it. As much value as we can give you guys. Any questions, feel free to put them on there. And again, anything that you guys see, like I've just been trying to, again, build up that page a little bit. If you see a good article that you think would be, man, people need to see this, put it in there, dump it into that Freedom Team group, anything that would help any of us, the more activity we get going in there. I don't want it to just be, the Jeff Morrell show. It's not about that. And the more interactive we can be in there, the better that group's going to be and the more value will be there. So we're just trying to build that up. So anything you see that you think would be helpful for people or any comments, questions, you can post questions in there, whatever you want to do. We just know more people are going to Facebook on a daily basis, multiple times a day than they are on Workplace. Workplace is awesome. But
hey, I do want to throw out next Wednesday at 10 Central. So I think it's 9 Central your time or 9 Mountain time. And I'll put it in this group, but I'm doing a Zoom. We'll probably have a lot of people on there with Margot from Clearwater Benefits.
Okay.
And so she's gonna do, it's only gonna be about 30 minutes, she said, about really about the benefit of our EXP partnership that we have with them. So if people, again, this is just good to talk with agents about, don't invite them onto this, but educate yourself. I mean, the average, what y'all may or may not know is the average savings for an EXP agent with the benefits is $8,000 a year. So it's amazing. And like, there's so many testimonies from this program through our community. Anyway, so open enrollment for insurance, for you to look and to change and any of that is open. They extended it. This is for all companies, but it's extended till the end of December. So now's the best time, perfect time if you're going to learn about it, So that's going to be next Wednesday at 9 a.m. your time. I'll post the Zoom link of where to chime in on it. But again, this is just a great value that we have at EXP, or a great option that we have. So come learn about it. And then even if it's not for you, you're going to know about it, as you're talking to others.
For sure.
Yep.
Kathy, thank you.
Right.
Good
You're
stuff.
welcome.
Thanks everybody for getting on. Have a great Thanksgiving. Be safe out there. Okay. We'll see you guys
Bye,
next
guys.
Tuesday.
Happy
Okay.
Hey, thanks a
Thanksgiving.
lot.
Thank you.